to stop and smell the flowers, if you like to climb the trees.
Hello, I'm here today to have a chat with you about my favourite sewing pattern. Lots of times I've made this pattern, and I've told you all on numerous occasions that I would show you all of my different garments that I've made with it. So here I am. So the pattern that I want to talk to you about is the Tilly and the Buttons Coco pattern. It's absolutely fantastic. Hang on a minute, I'll just get it so I can show you. Okay, so this is the Coco pattern. As you can see with the Coco pattern, it is a jersey t-shirt and it's also a tunic. Now the great thing about this pattern is that you can really mix it up. So you can take the t-shirt and add the turtleneck collar, or you can take the dress and add the cuffs. You can shorten the sleeves, you can lengthen the sleeves, you can do it with or without cuffs, with or without collars. So there is loads and loads of versatility in this pattern. It's designed for heavyweight knits, so the fabric that I find works best for a coco is a ponte roma. Now the one thing I find really frustrating is that in the UK, ponte roma in really nice funky prints is really hard to come across. We can just about get stripes if we're lucky, but there are very limited supplies of fun and funky fabrics in a nice heavyweight ponte roma. I am having everything crossed at the moment that Charlie Girl Fabrics, who produce a range of really funky prints in jerseys, are going to be working on a ponte roma sometime in the foreseeable future, so I will keep you posted on that. But basically what you want to make your coco is something that's got some guts to it. There's no point having a really thin drapey jersey. My very first coco that I made was in a very thin drapey jersey. It was like a blue leopard print. And yes, I learned how to make the pattern, but the top and the dress really was pretty disastrous. It just didn't have the shape and the structure that you need for a coco. So the pattern is really super simple. If you're a beginner dressmaker and you've never made anything before, regardless of the fact of whether you've worked with jersey or not, go for it. Tilly's instructions are 100% foolproof, and it was probably one of the very first garments that I made. And obviously for those of you who've been following me for some time, you know I've gone on to make quite a lot more and now also teach some basic dressmaking classes. So it really is simple, and it is a brilliant first timer. If you do want your hand held and you live in Essex, and then we do run classes and we teach how to make coco along with some of other patterns that Tilly has produced. So let me show you my cocos. Firstly, the coco that I'm wearing. This is a really simple one. I shortened the sleeves and the hem is just hemmed. It is a dress, so as you can see, it's got no pockets on it. I've just hemmed it and I've turned the neckline under and I've turned the sleeves under. So it is literally 4 pieces, a front, a back and 2 sleeves. So once this is cut out, you can put it together in under an hour easily. Now I can't remember, I'm just gonna have to check. Yes, I have used my overlocker to make this particular coco. If you have got an overlocker, then you can sew it straight up on the overlocker. But all I will say is if you're new to your overlocker and you haven't used it that much, I would suggest that you might want to sew your seams together first of all using the sewing machine, and then use the overlocker just to finish the raw edges. Because if you make it on the overlocker, if you get that seam allowance wrong, you're cutting off your garment. So you do want to make sure that you're confident in using your overlocker before you make a garment with it. But therefore, I think this probably took me about 45 minutes to sew up, and because it's cut out with a rotary cutter on a cutting mat, it took me probably about 15-20 minutes to cut out. So you really can make a coco super quick. So I'll show you my other ones. The next one I'm going to show you is another one that I've done as a skater dress. So again, short sleeves and just turned under. This one has been turned under, and I've run a zigzag stitch just around the sleeves, the neckline and the bottom. So this is in a really nice heavyweight ponte. I actually bought this fabric in Spotlight when I was in Australia last Christmas. They had loads and loads of really nice pontes in there. So that's my first one. This one I absolutely love. I get a lot of wear out of this one in autumn. Now I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but the dots on this, I don't think it's going to focus. The dots on this are like a black velvet. Now this fabric, I don't know if you can still get it, but I bought it in Sewing Machine World in Tunbridge Wells when I was there. So I haven't done the cuffs. I've left this just with a straight long sleeve. And the bottom is just turned under. Both of those have just been zigzagged, but I have put the turtleneck collar on this one. So this is a really nice one for autumn. It's just very, very comfortable, very everyday wear, but you could jazz it up. You could put a funky belt with it, a nice pair of high heels, and wear it for a day out. Again, this was sewn on my overlocker and was super quick to put together. The only thing I do when I sew them on my overlocker is I will attach the collars and any cuffs using the sewing machine first of all to make sure that I get them in without any puckers, because again, once you've overlocked, if you've got some puckers, then it's really, really hard to unpick and re-sew without making holes in your garment. This is a lovely one. I made this one after one of my pupils came in with this fabric, and I absolutely loved it, and obviously was jumping around because she'd managed to find a printed ponte. This is available still from Dragonfly Fabrics, and there is a purple, a blue and a grey version of this rosy ponte. So with this one I decided to do contrasting cuffs and a contrasting turtleneck, and I just used some slightly lighter weight jersey. It's still quite heavy, but it's not ponte. It's more of a kind of a strong heavy t-shirt fabric, but because it was just for the cuffs and the collar, I just thought that would look quite nice as a bit of a contrast. This is one of the first ones that I've gone right down to a size 3 now in Coco. It is really lovely, the sizing of Coco. When I first started making it, which would have been about 2 years ago now, I was about 3 stone heavier than I am now. And I used to make the size 8, which is the largest size. But it was always really lovely for me to be a size 8. So I'd like to thank Tilly personally for her sizing chart. So it goes from 8 through to 1. So I'm down to a 3 now. I think I must have made about 15 Cocos all in all. But the ones that I'm going to show you are the ones that now still fit me, that I've made over the last year. Since I lost my weight. I've got some of them are 4s and some of them are 3s. I sort of tweaked it towards the middle part of last year. So the next one I want to show you, this is a real classic Tilly, this one. She loves her stripes. This ponte I bought last year at the Knitting and Stitch show in Ali Pali. And I've done the cuffs on this one and the collar. As you can see, it's getting really quite bobbly, so I'm going to need to get one of those depilling gadgets and get rid of those. This one again has just been, no, it hasn't just been zigzagged. This one, I've got the old twin needle out on my sewing machine, and I've twin needled the hem, which gives that lovely zigzaggy look on the back. It's a really nice way of finishing your garments, but it is a bit tricky to master. You have to get the tension right on your sewing machine. So the last one that I want to show you is a little bit famous, this one. This had so many hits on YouTube. To date, this is my most watched vlog, sorry. This was the one that I made after the Great British Sewing Bee this year when they did the bias cut tops. And I was already planning to make a Coco with this fabric, which I bought at a fabric shop in Great Yarmouth. And I'd bought it to make a regular Coco, and when I then watched the Sewing Bee, I decided I was going to cut it all on the bias and make a bias cut Coco, and I did it sleeveless because I wanted it to look a little bit sort of 70s style. The one thing I learnt from this is when you turn the armholes in, because it's not designed necessarily to be sleeveless, it doesn't give the best finish under the arms. So if I did it again, then I would probably just make up a simple facing from probably just a lightweight t-shirty jersey, and I'd pop a facing in there to do the armholes rather than just turning it under. But I was particularly proud of my pattern matching. It took a very, very, very long while to cut out, and I had to sew it extremely carefully to make sure that all 4 of these seams matched up. But it was well worth it. Whenever I wear it, I get lots and lots of compliments. And I'm off to see Tilly on the 28th of November, I think it is. She's doing a talk at the Fashion and Textiles Museum, so I'm going to that, and I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to wear this Coco or one of my Megan dresses, but we'll have to see. But I do really, really love that, and it's well worth giving it a go if you want to challenge yourself with some bias cutting and some pattern matching, because it really is a super, super Coco. So that's all my Cocos that I'm going to show you today, but go buy the pattern. We do stock it at Beautiful Things. If you want to pick one up from me, then I'd be happy to post it to you. The patterns are £14, and they are absolutely lovely. They come with a really, really, really good printed instruction book, and all of the patterns are on really nice strong paper, so when you cut them out you can use them over and over again and they're not going to tear. So yeah, all the details on the back there, all your sizing, and just thumbs up Tilly, 100% my favourite sewing pattern.
If you like to stop and smell the flowers,